Hello, my name is Ken and welcome to the first episode of Can Ken Conquer Bodybuilding. So this is the series where I prepare to compete in my first ever bodybuilding show and show you the progress and all the learnings along the way. So in today's episode, I'm going to go over the first 6 weeks of my prep and show you the nearly 17 pounds that I've lost and what I've done to lose these 17 pounds in preparation for the show. So if you wouldn't mind first just hitting that like and subscribe button, and if you would turn on that notification bell just to follow my journey along the way to see Can Ken Conquer Bodybuilding. So just before we get started, I want a quick disclaimer. So I don't have any personal training qualification or strength and conditioning or any sort of nutritional background or degrees or anything like that. So everything that I talk on in these videos, it's just from my own personal experience. So kind of do with it what you will there. There's a number of topics that I want to talk on in the first 6 weeks that I've been preparing for this show. And when I first started in January, and then everything kind of happened and kind of shut down for about 3 months, and then I got back started again in May. When I did start in January, it was about 200 pounds, and just talking on everything I've done since then, getting started in my diet to where I am now, roughly weighing 185 pounds. The first topic I want to talk about is coaching. So I've actually hired a coach right off the bat before I started anything. So there is a number of ways you could do it. You could hire a coach, you could just kind of do it on your own from your own knowledge, or you could go and use online resources. Much of what I've always done for the near 10 years I've been kind of working out in the gym, just using information from the likes of YouTube, and because there is a lot of very good information out there on YouTube, and there's a lot of very good YouTubers that I've learned so much off over the years, and that's all my knowledge is from personal experience and pretty much YouTube. The reason why I decided to hire a coach is because this is something brand new, and it's something that I know there's a lot that goes into it, and just being able to take out that factor of having to think about my own program and what I should be doing, what I should be changing, and to kind of take out that bias as well, because you can be a bit easy on yourself where when it comes to diet as well, the likes, you've seen a little bit of progress and you say, I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing, not make too much changes, where your coach will be he very much has your best interest in mind and the kind of competition and the end result at mind. So it takes out that bias as well, and it kind of takes the workload off yourself, and you just go execute what your coach gives you and just follow their advice. And obviously then you do have a back and forth with a coach as well. You can talk out your ideas and how to make your plan and your kind of goals perfect and fit for you. So that's the reason why I decided to go with a coach. Something I will look to do in the coming weeks is actually hire a posing coach. So posing is something that I've tried to learn kind of on my own, and it's just, honestly, it's a struggle. It's just as hard, if not harder, I'm finding, than the training, because training is something that I've done for many years. So I will do another, that's another topic for a separate video on the whole posing and how I overcome that challenge, because that's going to be a massive one, because I am very awkward and don't really have any of the posing or any of the technique down so far. So the next topic I kind of want to talk on is how you start. So the very first thing I done, and what my coach got me to do, is he found my maintenance calories. So there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could just go online and use some, say, basic calculators and kind of get you started right off the bat. And what I done is, working with my coach, I kind of just ate what I was eating normally on a day-to-day basis. I used my FitnessPal then just to track the calories and the macros of what I was eating, and I weighed myself every single day for, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks. And then from that you get that data that shows you how much you've been eating on average and what your weight has been on average. So if your weight increases from the amount of food that you've been eating, then you're obviously eating a bit over your maintenance. And then contrastly then, if your weight decreases with the amount of food you've been eating, then you're eating under. And then if your weight stays the same, that's your maintenance calories. You're maintaining your body weight. So that's how you find your kind of starting point. So then moving on to the next topic is kind of macros. So really how I see it in my head anyway, yes, reduce your calories, eat in a deficit, you will lose weight. However, when it comes to body composition, something that's very important preparing for a bodybuilding show is that composition. So making sure you have your macros in check to get your body in the shape and the look that you're wanting to achieve. So for a breakdown for macros, a kind of simple breakdown is for every 1 gram of protein you have 4 calories, and the same for carbs. For every 1 gram of carbs you have 4 calories, And then for fat, for every 1 gram of fat, you have 9 calories. So typically what I done anyway, and what my coach got me to do, is he started off with my protein roughly around 1 gram of protein per lean body mass. So he done that just by getting some estimations on my body fat percentage, on my weight, and kind of determining what my lean body mass was, and then kind of giving me my protein target to start off. And then he kind of just filled in carbs and fats, just kind of whatever his direction was there. So a kind of medium amount of carbs and a medium amount of fat. Hi, missus. Hi. You're trying to come in. You're missing me. So then from that, I actually have 3 different types of days. I have a high, a normal, and a low day when it comes to macros. So my high days, I get 1 of those a week, and that's kind of to my own discretion when I want to use it. Typically you'd want to use that on the day that you're going to be using the most energy, so like a leg day, or if you're going to tie in like a weight session and a cardio session together. That's typically when I like to use them, because I just want that extra energy there, because I'm going to be expelling more energy that day. The low days, so by high, medium and low, it's kind of really carbs is what it's talking about. It's high, medium and low carb days, and your calories are high, medium and low on those days as well. So on my low days, that's just the days that I don't do any exercise, don't do any cardio or any one of my programmed weight training sessions. And then my normal days is just any other day that I train. Tracking progress and the measurements to make sure that I am progressing in the way that my coach wants me to. Just a way to kind of have a reference point. It can be very easy to get disheartened if you're trying to look at your like daily progress. You might not really see that progress on a day-to-day basis because it's so gradual. So it's very important to track in a number of different ways to see over time the progress that you've made. And it does give you a bit of encouragement as well when you look back on old photos or old measurements from 2 or 3 weeks ago, rather than what did I weigh yesterday and what do I weigh today, and comparing those. And it can be it's much more of a motivating factor as well as a way to be able to make changes to your program based on how your body has been reacting over time to everything you've been doing. The measurements that I do myself is I weigh myself every morning just after going to the bathroom, and put all those into my tracker, which I'll talk on a bit. And that gives you kind of your weekly body weight average, and then you're seeing how my body weight is changing from week to week. And then the other form of measurement that I'm doing is just pictures and videos. So shirtless videos and pictures right from the start to now. And I'm going to get a bit more frequent on those, trying to take pictures and videos every 1 to 2 weeks, just so I can physically see that progress. So that's the only 2 things that I really do for measurements: weigh every day and take pictures. So there are a number of other measurements that you could do. You could get a tape measure, you can measure the size of your arms and how that changed, or your neck and your waist. So taking measurements that way. And then there is body fat analysis as well. There's a number of ways to doing those. Something that I've done in the past is just using the calipers, and you're just kind of pinching certain areas, size of the fat that you have in those areas, and putting in a quick calculation and giving you, it just pumps out a percentage of body fat, and then you compare that, how it changes over time. I might start that pretty soon, because I do have a calipers, and just see how that changes over time, because that'd be pretty interesting. So then the tools that I use, I've already mentioned my FitnessPal. So I've had both the standard and the premium, so the one you pay for, my FitnessPal before. At the moment I just have the standard one, and something I'm finding now is really annoying and you can actually get caught out on is the daily macros. So when you have premium, you can basically pick what day you want what macros on, and when you have the standard version, you have to change your macros on that day for whatever day you're having your high, medium or low macro days. So I think I might upgrade the premium. I just want to make sure that there's value added there, that I'm not just spending $70. But one thing I know is I have got caught out once or twice is I've forgotten to change my macros for that day, and I'm just following what's already in my FitnessPal. I realize it's a low day when I had a normal day plugged into my FitnessPal, and you kind of catch that at the end of the day, and then you're eating weird things that hit your macros. So but I'd say for normal, if you're just trying to lose weight, my FitnessPal can be quite a good tool. I would be very careful. I've gotten into the lull of being very focused on everything you're eating every day, and you have to be on your macros, otherwise it's just a disaster, and that sometimes that can't be the best mentally. it kind of messes with you a little bit, and sometimes you can build a bit of a bad relationship with food. I've found that way. So sometimes you do need to cycle on and off using MyFitnessPal and just kind of go with your own intuition and just try and eat healthier foods, and just trying to eat till you're full rather than till you feel sick or starving yourself, and just kind of, it's a better way to learn and understand your body and how it feels and the needs that your body is trying to tell you as well. So what I also do is I use, via my coach, he sent me on both for my workout and for my weekly tracker, as he calls it. So tracking my weight, my macros, how I'm hitting my macros each day, the different types of days, the different days I'm training, putting all that in together so we can have an overview of my week and make the best decision for me to progress. So I'm using Excel for all those. And then something I'm going to start, I've done it a little bit in the past before, but I think it's going to be important now when I start getting into the heavier weeks of this preparation, is just writing down in a diary each day how I'm feeling. So that way, if I notice something kind of starting to, a trend starting to set in there where I'm not feeling the best, or I'm having certain low days, and I can kind of correlate it to how maybe what I've done the day before or something like that. So I'm going to start writing down how I feel, just so I can address and tackle those feelings like right away. Onto the workout itself. Typically before I even start this prep, what I do in the gym myself would usually be kind of a push-pull legs type system. So I was happy to know that when I started with my coach that he does follow a very similar system. So at the moment it is that push-pull legs kind of routine, but it is 4 days a week, 4 weight training sessions a week for an example, and then it rotates. You have 2 of each one of those workouts, if that makes sense, each week. So for an example, the first week I'll have legs, push-pull legs. The next week I'll have push-pull legs, pull, and then the week after that I'll have like push, legs, pull, push. That makes sense? Then for cardio, pretty much since the start, I believe I've had 2 lists. So low intensity, steady state, where you have your heart rate, typically for myself, I think it's between 50 and 65%. So for myself, that's like 100 to 130 beats per minute. And they've progressed a little bit in terms of the duration over the last 6 weeks, and they're up to 2 45-minute sessions, and you can kind of put those anywhere that suits during your week. That's one good thing that I like about the program, and the program that my coach developed for me. It is quite flexible with your macros and with your training. You kind of do what suits you best once you get everything done within the given week. And then I have 1 HIIT, so high intensity interval training session, and that is 11 intervals. And again, that started off at I think 6 intervals at the beginning of prep, and it's worked its way up to 11, just to help me burn off a few more calories. For those intervals, it's 1 minute and 40 seconds off, so 1 minute and 40 seconds of very low intensity, maybe like walking or something like that, and then 20 seconds of high intensity all out on whatever given machine or apparatus that you want to use. So something I've actually really enjoyed lately is the prowler push. So stack a load of weights onto the prowler, grab it, run up 10 seconds, get to the other end, run back 10 seconds, and then you have your 1 minute and 40 second rest, and then you just repeat that 11 times now, so a total of 22 minutes for that session there. And that's pretty much everything. So 4 weight training sessions, 2 low intensity, and 1 high intensity cardio sessions, and I work those in whatever way I want once I get them all done within 1 week. I track all of this and all my progress in what reps, sets and weights I've been hitting in my workout tracker. And what that allows me to do is make sure that I'm hitting all of my target weights, reps and sets, and then allows me to progress as well. So every session, the next session that is akin to that session, so my push A workout, then I do it one day and I'll have 4 sets of A at X weight. Then the next time I do that push A workout, I'll have say 4 sets of 9 at the same weight, or I'll have 4 sets of 8 and up your weight a little bit, or your rest period will decline a little bit. So always trying to progress a little bit. So something I've noticed with myself is that my strength is still there. I'm still able to lift the same amount of weight really in pretty much every lift, except for maybe my bench. My bench has gone down a little bit, but endurance is something that I feel it's being impacted in the last couple of weeks. So the first, second, maybe even the third set, I'll be absolutely fine. I'm able to get through it, and then I come on to my 4th set and like 2 or 3 reps shy of my target, and I find out I have to use the technique of just taking a rest for like 10-20 seconds and then getting those last 3 reps out. So muscular endurance is definitely something I can see is on the decline, and I can only imagine that's going to further decrease as I get further into this prep. So it'll be interesting to see how my coach works that one out and trying to mitigate that so I can continue with getting that volume in without absolutely killing myself every session and going to failure on all of those sets, because ideally you wouldn't really want to be going to failure too often on some of those heavier compound lifts, because it's just really taxing on your nervous system, which isn't always the best when you're going to be in such a depleted and deficient state with like the lower calories. Okay, so we just go over my progress then in the last, I guess, 6.5 months from when I first originally started. So when I did originally start, I was 200 pounds. So you can see I was holding quite a bit of weight, and I wasn't really happy where I was at, and it was one of the motivating factors for getting all of this started, just getting in shape after having a pretty heavy Christmas there, I guess. So I started just over 200 pounds, and that was in mid to the end of January. I was working out for I think 6 to 8 weeks then until everything happened, and the gyms were all closed for about 3 months. I think I lost about 5 pounds, so I was at roughly about 195. And then for those 3 months, I didn't actually really work out at all. I done 1 or 2 maybe home workouts, but really it was just going on walks, doing a bit of cycling and hiking and all that sort of stuff, a bit of the outdoors. And then one thing that myself and my wife done nearly every day, we got very consistent, was using this ROMWOD app. Pretty much it's an app that gives you stretching routines and posts a new one every single day. We're very consistent with that, and I'd have to say I've never really felt in myself better than ever in terms of any niggles or any little sores or anything. I became a lot more flexible and felt great starting up again. So after those 3 months, I started up again roughly, I believe it was May 18th. Back into the gym and getting working out again. It was great to get started, and great to start feeling really good and feeling really healthy and just kind of real nimble and all from all the stretching and all that I'd been doing with my wife, and it was really good to get started. So I was 195 when I got started again, so I didn't put on any weight over the 3 months, was able to keep it relatively consistent, kind of just eating when I was hungry. I didn't track anything, but just kind of had a bit of a healthy kind of mindset when I was eating, and just allowed myself a few snacks here and there. A real healthy way of just maintaining and not really focusing too much or stressing out too much about the whole diet and situation. The last 7 weeks then, I show you the pictures then here. I'm weighing, as of this morning, 184.6 pounds, so down just over 10 pounds now in the last 7 weeks. And you can really see I hold a lot of weight around my midsection, a little bit in my chest, but never too much in my back. So you can really see that midsection and my waist really start to suck in now, and a big difference there. So that was really nice to see, and that was the kind of motivating factor I was talking on earlier on in this video, where you take those pictures and over the course of maybe a couple of days you don't notice, but when you look back on 7 weeks and the 10-11 pounds I've lost, the difference is amazing. So it does really give you that kind of boost and that confidence that you have really been making a lot of progress, which is nice to see. Trying to use this like natural light in here, like my very pale skin tone, so it's very hard to see any definition. So I will probably have to work on a bit of a base layer, and then a tan during the actual show will hopefully make things pop a little bit there. But definitely I'm very happy with the progress. So my coach anticipated that I'd need to be around 160 to 165 pounds stepping on stage. So to see the difference between 10 pounds lost and how drastic that's been, and still to know that over these next 13 to 14 weeks I still have 20 to 25 pounds lose, just kind of gets me really excited to see what I'm going to look like when it comes to actually show day and stepping on stage. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it gives you a nice insight into everything I've been doing starting the diet and in these first 7 weeks, to go from that 200 pounds in January and then 195 in May, right down to this 190 or 185 now in July. Over the last 7 weeks, and just kind of all the tools and techniques I've been using. Yeah, so if you did enjoy the video and you're excited to kind of see my progress and my learnings as I go through all of this process, if you wouldn't mind just hitting that like and subscribe button, and as well just click on that notification bell just to make sure you don't miss any of the journey to see if can Ken conquer bodybuilding. So if there's anything from what you've heard so far that you'd be interested in me talking on, my experience as I go through this process, if you wouldn't mind just dropping a comment in the comment section below, and I'll make sure I get back to any comments that are down there, answer the question, or if it's something I haven't really gone over yet or experienced yet, I'll see if I can work it into a later video. I'll make sure I write down all of these comments and try and incorporate them and answer them from my perspective and my experience through these videos. So I'm planning to have one video a week, so and I have a couple ideas on the different types of videos. This was just kind of an introduction on how I'm starting my diet and how I've gone over the first 6 weeks, but I do have a couple of different ideas on getting all of this information and all of the experience that I'm having through this whole process. So hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you in the next one.